So I started riding a little over 3 years ago, trail riding in Durango, Colorado, and that was a lot of fun, and I wanted to take riding more seriously, so I started calling around in my area, Seattle area, to see what type of riding schools there were, and there was a couple English riding schools, which is different than Western riding, but it's riding and it makes me a lot better, so I started that, and with learning how to ride on the English saddle and practicing all the that groundwork, and then eventually go into jumping, and you just keep on going from there, and making me a better rider. And when I go back, transition back to trail riding, everything just comes together. As far as competitiveness, I do compete when I can. They have different events at the school that I'm at. They got jumper events and hunter events. They've got what's called combined training, but you do a dressage event in the morning, and then a couple hours later you go on to your jumping training. They also have hunter contest and different classes, and that's basically based on how high the jumps are. They start anywhere from crossbars, and they go all the way up to 4 feet. Now, I'm not that high yet. I'm right now 2 foot 6 inches, but I love to compete and train, and the more you train, it makes you better at the competition, and you learn things when you compete, and you take that back into what you did wrong, and you take that back with you, so when you go back to training what you need to work on. Okay, so we want to talk about my competitive nature? Okay. Well, first of all, competing is a lot of fun. Now, I do have a Subaru that I try to take on the track as much as I can. There's a lot of people around me, for example, who either as good as me or not as good as me or much better than I am. But it's kind of exciting. It's a different type of feeling when you're competing. You tend to push yourself a little harder, and that's just one example. Going around the track as fast as you can, and yeah, again, you're going to make some mistakes, and every time you go around, you're going to try to correct those mistakes. As far as horseback riding, the competition, you're out there by yourself, so you're kind of competing against yourself, and asking the horse to do certain things, and hopefully he does what you ask. But you're also competing against other people. They're all out there by themselves, so it's like you're adversely competing against everybody. First against yourself to make sure you do your job right, because if you don't do your job right, you're not going to place as well. So you got to focus on what you need to do, and kind of worry about the rest of the competition a little bit later. But if you can just take care of yourself, then things tend to fall into place. Okay, so the question was what brought me to the jousting? Well, I was lucky enough to take a class, actually take a school about a year and a half ago. That's called light jousting. And essentially it's got the heavier lance and the shield. They teach you how to hold the lance. They teach you how, the horseback riding and jousting is a little bit different than the English or the Western style. So they teach you about leg work. They teach you about what's called a list, which is about 75 yards long, and how to control your horse going down the list. And so I've always wanted to kind of do that. And I said, I need to take it seriously and just kind of try to see if that's something that I want to do and pursue further. And after 7 days, I knew I still had a lot of work to do, but it was still, it was a lot of fun, and I just want to pursue that and keep doing that. Now there are different jousting schools. There's one, there's the light jousting, then there's what's called heavy jousting, which is your full plate armor. They use a similar lance, but the principles are the same. you're still running down, charging down that list, and hitting your opponent, and the opponent's trying to hit you, and you're breaking your lance, or they're trying to take you off your horse. So the principles are the same. It's just the rules are a little different, and it's all really exciting. All right, sorry, you're asking what is it that's exciting? Oh, okay. Well, just imagine, you're sitting on your horse, you got your helmet on, you can't see very well. The only thing that you can really see, you can see out, and the only thing you're seeing is your opponent at the other end of the list. You're about 50 to 75 yards. You got a lot of things going on in your head. Maintain balance of the horse, maintain control of the horse. When you kick the sides of the horse to get him going, I mean, you're charging down that list, and your opponent's charging at you, and your heartbeat's going 120 beats a minute. And then you got to worry about timing. Okay, I need to lower the lance at a certain amount of time and hit the target without missing the target. And once there's a collision, it's a real loud pop, and the horse keeps charging down the rest of the list, and you got 2 or 3 more times to hit your opponent. Now that is the rush, is charging down the list and actually hitting the shield. That's where the rush comes in. Well, obviously, there'll be a few factors on how people are going to do. The way the person, obviously, if he's bigger, 200, 225, if he's muscular, if he's worked out, he may have the advantage. He or she may have the advantage because when they receive a hit, they can, absorb that energy, and they can give a pretty good hit too. Now, this is a good question because everyone's wearing armor, and armor is relative typically to your body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, theoretically the armor is 100 pounds. If you weigh 160 pounds, so what I'm trying to say is that everybody has a disadvantage, that they're getting used to their armor, and you have to have balance. If you're a big guy and you start losing your balance on a hit, you're going to go over just as fast as anyone else. So weight does have an advantage, but if you don't know how to ride your horse or control your horse or have balance, the bigger guys can go off just as fast as anyone else. So, the advantage on this one is whoever's got, really good leg strength on a horse and can maintain the balance and have good hand-eye coordination, they're really going to have the advantage to jousting. Well, yes, I do. But you won't know until actually the day comes, I've been riding pretty seriously. As far as hand-eye coordination, I think helicopter flying has probably helped a little bit in that regard. You have to have pretty good hand-eye coordination in helicopter flying. As far as the balance, their dressage, jumping you need to have balance when you jump. And as far as leg strength is concerned, helps you in the jumping, helps you in the dressage. You're controlling your horse strictly by your leg movements. So all of that kind of ties in together into jousting. And of course, obviously, you need to be physically fit. You don't want to be winded, and that's just one element. There's several elements going on. Well, I think so. Everybody who's out there is going to try to do their best. And yet the younger people are going to have a little bit more energy and be just as physically fit. But attitude's important. You got to want to win. You have to want to be there. It's all exciting. Everyone's going to be excited. But really, it's going to come down to who can control their horse. It always goes back to horsemanship. If you can control your horse and he does what you asked him to do, that's going to be a huge thing right there. And then the other things that come into it, is one person stronger than the next person. That's great, but strength won't matter if you don't have the balance and can't control your horse. It only matters at the time of the impact, who's ever the strongest and can take those hits, hit after hit after hit, and not wear out. Oh, to answer that, you just got to give 100%. Every day, you're training every day. You have to take it seriously. You have to have fun. And, I take everything in stride. I've overcome a lot of challenges. And you just got to keep your head up and keep going no matter what happens. So, really, one of the big elements here is having a good attitude. Don't get down on yourself when things aren't going your way. You got to just get back up and keep going. And there very well be people who are going to be better, better at riding or stronger than you or whatever. But people may have an off day, and it really comes down to attitude. If you don't do good, can you just pick yourself back up and just continue on, or just continue to have a bad attitude because things aren't going your way. So I think attitude is going to be the huge part of this, for the final winner. Okay,